Tonight, on the season finale of This Week in NASCAR.
Oh, trouble! Montoya and Stewart bounce off each other. And Jimmy Johnson indeed makes history tonight. His fourth consecutive Sprint Cup Series championship. Amazing.
Tune in for one last Radioactive.
It is time to shine here.
Plus highlights from the entire weekend for your viewing pleasure. The best of 2009 is headed your way, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico. Hey, good Monday evening, everybody. I'm Steve Burns. Glad you're with us. Well, we'll show you our headline in just a minute. I think the headline in the Charlotte Observer, the local paper, says it all back to back to back. Jimmy Johnson wins his fourth consecutive championship. Back to back to back to back.
There you go.
Thank you, Michael. I
forgot a back. I was on it with you. Right.
Well, Michael Waltrip is here.
He is.
Greg Biffle is with us.
Yes,
Glad you're with us, Greg. And, of course, Mr. Excitement.
You know, it's interesting. Ever since 2001, when Jimmy first started racing in the Cup Series, he's got the most wins, the most top fives, the most top tens, most lap lead finishes. So, you know, guy's pretty good. Got a hell of a race team behind him, too.
He's the driver of the decade. Let's go ahead and give him that honor at least. If he's not going to be the greatest ever, he's the driver of the O's.
Well, your brother, yesterday on our pre-race show, said it was the greatest team ever. He said, I've raced against the Earnhardts, the Pettys, and this is by far the best team. And I guess it's kind of hard to argue against that.
They've shown that they are the best at this point. It'll be fun to see what happens the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
What kind of dynasty can they build? What can they continue at this pace? Hendrick Motorsports is certainly on top of their game. They took an old guy, Mark Martin, and raced him for the championship. So there's no reason to think that Jimmy Johnson can't do the same thing for many years to come.
Well, Chad Canal said, I think it was last week, he said, you know, I expected Greg Biffle, I expected Carl Edwards to contend. And the most competition actually came from his teammates, Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon. But, you know, there's no reason, I guess, from what Michael's saying, there's no reason for us to think he's not the favorite to win 5 consecutive.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here talking about winning 4 in a row, and I mean, you know, I'm like, well, who's going to compete with him for the 5th one?
How are you not going to make him the favorite for number 5?
And I got to give credit to Hendrick Motorsports. I mean, we got to give, certainly we don't want to take credit away from, you know, Chad or Jimmy or anybody else on that team, but you got to give credit to Hendrick Motorsports for what they've been able to do and keep together and create. And there's a lot of people that touch those cars.
I agree with you guys. I mean, it's awesome. But, you know, I'll tell you something. I think Joe Gibbs' guys learned a lot this year. I think that Kyle Busch, by missing the chase, he got a new crew chief now. You know, Joey Logano progressed pretty well. He's a couple years away. But Denny Hamlin outscored Chad and Jimmy in 5 races. He won yesterday. He made a major mistake at California. But I think when all the smoke clears, that this team Gibbs is going to be a factor in this chase next year in the championship.
But remember what happened 5 years ago at Hendrick Motorsports, the tragedy that could have broken that place apart.
The plane crash.
The plane crash that took away several of the key folks that run that place.
Yeah.
But yet they stayed together. Rick's glue held the whole organization together. People stepped up and they did jobs that they hadn't been doing, and they brought people in to continue at the level that they were at that point. That says a whole lot about Rick Hendrick. The fact that people just wanted to claw in and keep that place on its toes, and they certainly have done it. And the domination that they've enjoyed this year, second to none ever, I think.
Greg, I have good news about the final point standings. There are no yellow lines.
Good.
No yellow lines.
Why even put the points over there? Just put the final rundown, Finn. It doesn't really matter, right?
Jimmy, 141 points. That is the largest margin of victory in the history of the
But Steve,
I double.
But 1 point or 400 points, it doesn't matter.
I'm glad the points are there. I like it. Okay. It matters to me. It matters to me.
Why?
Because I see that Greg.
Because I see that I missed sixth by 23.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I'm like, one more race, maybe.
I know it's interesting. We saw Tony Stewart in the top 5 and Denny all the way back to 11th. And he said, you know what, about 4 races ago, he says, no, this team's better than where we are. And he comes back and got 5th. So, there's a lot to be said about the points. So, we also knew that Kurt Busch could have unseated Jeff Gordon. And they made a bad pit call, evidently, and that could have stopped that Hendrick 1, 2, 3. So it's a story to talk about.
Greg, last week we gave Chad a hard time because he just miraculously showed up. We thought we were done with him for 2009. They win at Phoenix. What do you know? Chad's in the chair.
I keep looking around the corner thinking he's going to pop out here again.
Well, just for you, Michael Waltrip, just for you, here is Chad Canals.
Hey guys, sorry I couldn't be there this week on Twin, but obviously I had a little something going on, and I don't think I'm going to be in any type of shape to be on the show tonight. So I really appreciate everything this year, and yes, Mikey, I have been missing an opportunity to come in and talk about myself tonight on TV, and I'm sure you'll make fun of me about that as well. But thanks again for everything, you guys, this year, and Burns, Spencer, and I don't know if Biffle's there or not, but guys, thanks for everything, and we'll talk to you guys next year.
Well, Chad, I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking a lot of pressure off me. When I congratulated Jimmy for winning the championship at Texas a couple weeks ago, and he went out and crashed on the second lap, I've been told by Jimmy Johnson's people, don't go near him. Don't say anything to him.
Don't talk about it.
Don't wave. Just act like you don't know him for a couple weeks. And now Jimmy and I can be friends again. And so, Chad, thank you for the rally and rebounding and keeping your head about you and getting Jimmy that championship.
I picked Michael yesterday on our show. Michael, you ended something yesterday. You've been very good for our sport, and you ended your career as a full-time driver. And I want to thank you. I know you're my buddy, but I want to thank you for what you've done for the sport. And I think Denny Hamlin said it in Victory Lane. You meant a lot to the sport.
I care about cars, and I care about the sport, and I appreciate that, Jimmy. A lot of people are kind enough to say thank you for the 25 years of racing my car in circles, and I appreciate that.
Michael, I know you said you don't know what 2010 looks like, but you're not retiring from driving yet.
No, but I'm really interested in these cars. Look at my guys; they wore wigs. Isn't that great?
Cool. That's awesome.
Some of them still had them on today, which was cool. But I really care about this team, and I really enjoy the fact that we can get out and lead races now. We're becoming contenders, so. I'm going to race the 500, but after that, I just want to do everything I can do from the sponsorship side to the competition side to help our cars go faster. So,
a quick note too. Everybody's saying how they're bragging on the 14 and 39, how great that team has done. I think your team done well this year. I think I look at Ambrose and I look at David winning a race and
wasn't Ambrose leading yesterday?
Yeah, Marcus was running good yesterday, and he got up high and got the wall. But I think, Greg, like you said the same thing. These guys have really come to life.
Yeah, they have.
Well, congratulations on your last full-time season.
Thank you.
Coming up, all the best scanner and Radioactive, including a crew chief mad at his own driver. You'll hear that next, plus a weird pit road incident. We'll analyze all the highlights, and later we'll look back at the 2009 season. Plenty of exciting and breathtaking moments this year. You'll see them all. Stay with us.
This Week in NASCAR is presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And brought to you in part by Wrangler, proud sponsor of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
That's good TV right there. Fishing at night, was he?
I wonder what he was catching.
News.
That would be a first, right off the top rope, first day.
I like the way you do your hair. That's pretty cool. Is that product or?
I try. It's product, yeah.
Oh, that's a good time to go to break. That's a well-oiled machine right there. But for the final time of 2009, we take a look at one of our favorite segments, Radioactive from Homestead Miami Speedway.
Radio, check 1, 2. 10-4, got you. Check 1, 2. I got you there. You got me okay? Got a copy. 10-4.
A beautiful Sunday afternoon here in South Florida as the season winds down. And of course, it comes down to a championship that is on the line. And believe it or not, it could go either way.
Let's go out there and enjoy the day today, boys. Could be one of the best days of your lives right here. Let's give it all we got. Leave it all on the track. The best, buddy. We love you. It's been a good ride. Appreciate the hard work, buddy. We'll miss you, but we're also going to beat you next year.
A
champion to be crowned, but a race to be run for the moment. Green flag goes in the air. Jimmy Johnson sets sail. He's from the pole. He's out front all by himself.
Very nice, man. Very, very smart race. That's awesome. Go get him, bud.
Trouble. Montoya and Stewart bounce off each other. Smoke boiling. Sparks flying. Montoya's in the wall.
Yeah, our fender smashed too. Run over me there twice. I push him on the motherfucking rectos. They should park him for that. Earl, keep an eye on the 42. The 42 is back on the racetrack, and the 14, unfortunately, is ahead of us.
Trouble on turn number 4. Juan Pablo Montoya gets into Tony Stewart.
Finally got him. Yeah, it's 4. We deserve it, though. They're going to penalize us for 2 laps. Tip 4. You know, it's typical. Is it a full moon, or like what's going on, dude? Last race of the year.
Caution is on the racetrack.
This is going to, once again, change the whole complexion of tonight's race.
All right, just so you're aware, the 2 car took 2 tires. He appears to be the only car that took 2 tires. He is a sitting duck.
Kyle has got the lead, but maybe not for long as Denny Hamlin punches a hole to the inside of his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate.
Point 1, you're pulling away a little bit at a time.
Denny Hamlin heads to the start-finish line. He'll win the Ford 400.
Way to go. So proud of you, man. Come a long way.
And Jimmy Johnson indeed makes history tonight. He'll come home 5th in the final race of the year and claim his 4th consecutive Sprint Cup Series championship.
Woo! My God, I can't believe it. History, boys. No one ever.
You got to admit that scanner piece is awesome, because it's not everything that's happened in that whole 400-mile race, but as a fan, and I being a fan now, I put that scanner on listen, and you heard the crew chief tell Tony, you know, Darren Grubb said, we deserved it. And, you know, you didn't hear where Chad was calming Jimmy down, because Jimmy was upset one time with the 33, racing him real hard. I mean, that piece, to me, is the highlight of the weekend, because you can't believe what's always constantly happened at the event under these conditions. And if you have that scanner on, you can hear that stuff. I think it's pretty cool.
I want to mention something too, that little sticky note that Chad held up. It said, we can't do it without you. That was for Mr. Hendrick. He had a niece who had an emergency liver transplant back here. And I think that says a lot about, first of all, best wishes to their whole family, but I think that says what Rick Hendrick is about. He, you know, by all rights, he could have been there at that race, but it was family first.
Don't you feel like that's why people dig in hard for him? Because he cares about people and he cares about family, and he's just the kind of guy that you want to try to go a little bit extra for, and they've had a lot of success. As an owner, I really look up to him and appreciate the way he does business.
And we certainly hope his niece is getting better. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights now from the Ford 400. And guys, I want to ask you about the racing. That progressive banking seems to lend itself to 2 wide, 3 wide. We saw a lot of it, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, the racetrack is definitely starting to lose grip, and, you know, it makes it a little bit tougher. The cars slipping and sliding, but look at those cars. We're running 3 wide around that racetrack, and everybody's kind of finding their own lane. And I think it's a great racetrack. I mean,
you know, when they throw the green flag, you hear 3 wide, three wide.
Yeah,
oh, you're 3 wide again. We don't hear that anymore. We don't. We hear that.
Mile and a half.
I mean,
running 3 wide.
That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
How'd the track change once it got dark?
You know, the track picked up a lot of grip once it got dark. You know, the cars started running faster, started digging in the racetrack better. And, you know, it was much better when the sun went down. It's almost like, that track is almost like Darlington. It's starting to take, you know, that Darlington, Rockingham type of grip. And I think Goodyear, you know, eventually will have to go back and soften that tire a little bit to give the car a little bit more grip. And I think it's going to be good as we go. If they do soften that tire a little bit, it'll have more grip in the beginning, slow down at the end, and make just as good or better racing.
You know what that track reminded me of yesterday, Michael, and I think you raced it too, was Rockingham.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that I always loved about Rockingham, especially from a driver's side, you could go anywhere you wanted to on a racetrack, and that seems to me at Miami. You saw Denny perceive on the bottom, and you saw other guys run at the top. You saw Ambrose passed Jimmy on the top. So, I mean, you saw a lot of different groups come into play there Sunday.
You almost made Buddy Baker take up smoking again at Rockingham. You were driving for him. I was up on the roof near him. Jimmy would come out of 4 sideways every lap, and Buddy would just start pacing. He was up there with Danny Schiff. You almost made him start smoking.
Buddy Baker's a buddy of mine. Thanks, Buddy, for giving me my first opportunity in a Cup car.
All right, let's move ahead now. Let's delve into the Tony Stewart Juan Pablo Montoya confrontation. Tony Stewart slides up there in front of the 42.
Then a little bit more racing goes on, and then these two get back together. That bump would have been all for fun, except it blew out Juan's tire.
Well, it collected the one car and got some damage to an innocent bystander there, which I don't think was fair either.
Well, you'll have that, though.
Well, that's true.
30 laps later, it's
I wonder what
payback.
happened there? Retaliation, man?
Oh, definitely.
And that ruined Tony's day. It cost him a shot at top 5 in points.
Ooh.
But I think Tony started it all.
That's big when you admit, when you say it like that, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
But it did. He was in the top 5 in points, and he lost. He ended up finishing,
6th.
20-something.
Yeah.
And if he finishes where he was running, 10th or 11th, that's a lot. And there's a lot to be said. Let's face it. At the end of the year, you say, "Where'd you finish?"
Top 5.
11th. Oh, you missed the top 10. If you finish 6th, you missed the top 5. So, but seriously, I think those two guys, Juan Pablo and Tony, those are the 2 shortest sticks of dynamite at the racetrack. And those 2 short sticks went off yesterday. It was good. It was good for the fans. And I wish we were going to a race next because it would erupt again.
Coming up next, Jimmy Johnson found himself way back in the pack at one point. More highlights, and you'll see some great driving coming up. Plus, a look back at the best finishes of the year, including former teammates tangling at Daytona. Twin will be right back.
48 is trying to keep up with us.
There's 3 kinds of people in this world. The kinds that count and the kinds that can't count.
So there's 3 kinds of people.
I'm not that smart in geography.
Hey, what's that down there? I had my first pack.
Did you guys follow that?
Mike Kelton is right there. He'll listen to your idea, and 9 times out of 10,
Yours are crazy.
you want to see my ab?
Well, this was my story, wasn't it?
I just now figured out that joke, 3 kinds of people.
And you're one of those ones that can't.
Thanks for not laughing at me. Well, first of all, we never claimed to be smart. Anyways, if you want this picture of Jimmy Johnson's 4th straight championship, go to the Picture of the Week giveaway at speedtv.com. Click the show's tab at the top. Go to the This Week in NASCAR page, and you'll see an email tab at the top. Put 4 in a row in the subject line, and you're entered to win. Be sure to put your shipping address in the email. The Jimmy Johnson picture from Phoenix goes back to Jimmy's home state of California.
I don't think we'd have the nerve to say we were smart, because people could tune in.
No, they can see that on a consistent basis that we're not.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm not very articulate either.
Easy for you to say.
What does articulate mean?
Go ahead.
Well spoken.
Steve.
What was the word that you couldn't figure out or you misused a bunch early in the year?
I don't know.
It was like inconspicuous or egregious or something, but
Egregious?
you mangled it, whatever it was. All right, a weird incident on pit road.
This was weird. I was involved in this.
Weird. It was egregious.
Look how far back I am. I'm giving them all plenty of room, but heck, they just stopped. You can see the guy behind me, Dale Jr., I think, almost ran over me.
It reminded me of a guy at a crossing guard at the school saying, "Stop, everybody." And they all stopped. And then that's hard to believe that, like you said earlier, Michael, that
Look how far Dale Jr. is behind
45
me.
mile an hour.
And look how you just don't know. You can't see, first of all, and no one ever stops right there.
About 7 cars got involved in that. You're right, Michael. Nobody ever stops right there. So I think it caught everybody off guard.
And then, Steve, we see these cars wreck running 178 or 80, 90 miles an hour, spinning down the straightaway. Then they crank up and drive off and put tires on. They're still in the race. We put 2 behind the garage area right there on pit road.
Tony Stewart got spun up by Juan Pablo and got less damage than Elliott Sadler did at 40 mile an hour. That's just incredible.
Yeah, you don't leave it up. You don't think we're too smart? Just watch a race too. We can prove. We'll show you on Sunday that we ain't that bright either.
All right, let's move ahead now to the Castrol Edge. Smart move of the race. And it's going to go to Jimmy Johnson. At one point, he had to tread lightly because he was stuck back in traffic.
Look at that mess. And any one of these cars spin, cause him some damage. 29 cars, Steve, finish on the lead lap. You have one problem. He has a flat tire. Anything can happen in this championship battle.
This is a little tight right here with his teammate.
3 wide. You know what? Chad said they're going to be conservative, but I would argue that they showed up to race.
Yeah.
Well, I think that when you look at it, they knew that what happened to them at Texas was they were involved in a wreck very early in the race, and that was like 6th or 7th position. And here they are running, like Michael said, with 3 wide racing. Anything could have happened, and they were fortunate nothing happened. But they did have a good car, and I think they wanted to get into that top 3 or 4 again. They never really did. He did finish 5th, but I think that all in all, he had the car to beat, but he never could show his hand because he knew that 29 cars in the lead lap, he still could lose the championship on the last lap.
You know what we're going to say next year, Steve?
No.
When he heads to Miami, he's never won here, you know.
That's the bright side. We get to talk about that, right?
You know what Larry Mack says?
What?
He never has to.
Never has had to.
No. All right, let's move ahead to the last set of pit stops. Kurt Busch is going to take 2 tires. You heard in Radioactive. Everyone else takes 4. We're going to go ahead and give the Geico Greatest Pit Crew to the 2 team. Guys, they took a shot.
I'm glad you're giving it to him.
Greg, are you guys?
Well, you're gonna put 2 tires on with a full fuel run left in the race. Yeah. We could barely make it, right? I don't think you can.
Do you want the Geico Greatest Pit Crew for the?
Yeah, my guys won the Tissot pit stop. No, they won for the season.
Congratulations.
They deserve it. What do you think, Michael?
That's a great.
There you go.
Yeah, baby.
16.
Michael and I overruled you.
Congratulations.
Who writes?
So they don't get the Geico?
No, it goes to Greg.
Okay, I'm on board.
We're switching.
Who writes that stuff,
Jeff
Steve?
Polich.
Oh.
I'm on board with it.
Jeff's in my ear right now telling me to mind my own business.
Yeah. You want to try and write it?
Oh, well, machine.
Wow.
Let's move ahead now. Denny Hamlin passes his teammate, mind your own business. Kyle Busch with about 45 laps to go. And Jimmy, I've got to agree with you here. That 11 team, with the exception of the wreck at California, and they had trouble at Charlotte, showed a lot of strength in the chase.
They had a lot of problems this year. This whole Gibbs team did. When you look at engine failures, parts failures, weird stuff happened to this team. And I think that that's the advantage that Hendrick has. I don't know what they do. I don't think anybody really does. They're not going to let that stuff out of the bag. But it's obviously the engine department at Gibbs has to get better at dependability. And I think that the service department, as far as car preparation and stuff, the dry shaft braking at transmission, ignition boxes. And I think if the Gibbs organization gets that straightened out, that 11 and 18 be tough next year.
Mr. Hendrick has a good service department because he has lots of dealerships.
Yep.
You can get a quick lube.
You can. And see, Joe doesn't have dealerships. So he hasn't got that part figured out.
He sells oil,
That's
though.
why.
Joe Gibbs high performance.
You learn something on this show every week, fans. You see that?
Even if someone's not as smart as you are, you can still learn from them.
They're going to miss us.
Yes.
This stream of consciousness show. When we return, Denny Hamlin was true to his word. Spence, he got payback in the nationwide race.
But he didn't do enough damage to the car to make an effect.
We'll also have Truck Series highlights from Homestead, Miami as well.
The smart move of the race has been presented by Castrol Edge. Think with your dipstick. Upgrade to new Castrol Edge Advanced Synthetic. Nothing offers better wear and protection. The Greatest Pit Crew has been presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Everybody does it. You squirt yourself out of your box.
This is the only show where you get that kind of information.
What kind of shoes are those you got on there? You like those? Those are cool, right? They're kind of like they're patent leather. I think I got like the most poles of any nationwide driver at Richmond.
Are you running the nationwide?
No.
Okay. I got a pretty good record there,
Yeah.
so.
I'm preserving my percentages.
Michael Waltrip has no business making fun of anybody's shoes.
This show's just very fun today. We're showing the things we do.
It's end of the year.
It's awesome. It's like a highlight reel.
It is. Speaking of awesome, Ron Hornaday Jr. clinched his 4th Camping World Truck Series championship at Phoenix a week ago. Meanwhile, his team owner, Kevin Harvick, won that race at Phoenix, tried to make it 2 in a row at Homestead, Miami.
Battle for the lead up front. Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch.
What's he doing? We got problems with the 51.
Slow on the track.
Got a flat tire.
Flat tire. Kyle Busch came to pit road to change right side tires. Black flag comes out for Kyle Busch.
When you change 2 tires, that's a chance you take, not getting your tires back to the pit wall before the truck takes off.
Oh, the guy's holding the tire. He's holding it. Oh, and he fell. Yeah.
Tires fell on him.
As they go into turn number 1, Timothy Peters goes high. Kevin Harvick goes down low.
Timothy spun the tires at the start, Darrell. You're talking about the hot tires.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
Kevin Harvick is going to win again in the Camping World Truck Series.
Freaking job, guys. That's the way to put it into a year right there.
Final point standings of 2009, as we said, Hornet Day Jr.'s 4th Camping World Truck Series championship.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Only 2 other drivers in NASCAR history have done that.
How about Ron winning 5 races in a row earlier this year?
I'm glad you didn't argue with me about that because when I was saying it, I didn't know if I was right or not. Richard Petty won 4, and someone else did. Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hey,
Not you,
Kyle
Gordon.
Busch.
You, Jeff Bullish.
One of the most amazing statistics about Kyle Busch in the Nationwide Series, he won 9 races, but he finished second 11 times, and he won the season finale at Homestead.
There is the 11, Denny Hamlin, coming up on the 88. Will they tangle this time around?
There you go. Keselowski's around.
Whoa!
Right off the front bumper of Denny Hamlin.
Keselowski goes around.
That boy will never learn. He didn't do it good enough.
That's right. He did.
That was fun. Give me 4 tires. I'll be all right.
Right off the corner.
Yeah. Not much doubt in what went on right there, guys.
Now, Denny Hamlin holds good to what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to take care of business, and right here it is. Keselowski does a great job not to hit anything.
Denny Hamlin is going to get black flagged and held 1 lap for aggressive driving. 5 laps remaining in the 2009 season. On board with Burton, and there goes Carl underneath.
He's got second spot now. All he's got is Kyle Busch.
He's a half a second behind Busch. 1.5 miles remains in the 2009 Nationwide Series, and first and second in the points are going to duke it out for the final win of the year. He's coming down. Look out, he's going to slide up. We've seen him bounce off the wall before, but it won't work this time. Oh, here he comes. Kyle Busch is going to take the win. He has now scored more points than anyone ever in a full season in Nationwide Series competition. He normally goes for the checkered flag. I think he might want that one.
As we look at the final points, guys, listen to this. He also set records for most laps led in a season, most consecutive races led, most second-place finishes, most races led in a season, races led the most laps, most points he scored in a season. You just heard that. And the only driver to win 2 NASCAR touring races in the same day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty big accomplishment.
And then think about this. Couple Joey Logano with him, the accomplishments that he had in that 20 car during the course of this season, that was team dominance. If Kyle didn't win, Joey did, it seemed. And you put all those stats together, no other team has ever done anything like that.
Kind of like Hendricks in the Sprint Cup Series in the Nationwide.
Michael, you're owner now. Can Gibbs learn something from the Busch team, the Nationwide team, to take over to the Cup team?
I don't think so. I think they're totally separate, and they've just got those Nationwide cars engineered out to the nth degree. They work perfect everywhere they unload them. They're fast, whether it's Kyle or Joey. They've got it going on over there, and obviously they had it going on the Cup side too during most of the year. And boy, I'm like you, Jimmy. I look for those Gibbs cars to contend with. And you know where did Richard Childress all of a sudden come from? They tuned their cars up over the last month or so, and they could be a part of the story in 2010.
And that'd be good for the sport.
Well, when we come back, a bump and run by the eventual champ is included in our rundown of best finishes of 2009. Plus, we witnessed some scary wrecks at places that aren't known for them. All the best and most exciting moments of 2009 coming up. Your head is on Jimmy Johnson's body.
Oh, I'm rich.
He's crushing the M&Ms. That's not right, Carl.
What are you making now?
Still less than you are.
You're making less than me?
Whew. Bam! Here you go, M&Ms. How about some of that?
Well, nothing was fast for me, but the inside was better.
You're following him, and you see him doing it, and you go, oh, the mulligan. I wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
That's how you break it down. That's good stuff right there. This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico. Can you believe we get paid to laugh and have a good time?
I feel like a group hug is
It could happen.
That's scary.
He wanted to hug Greg last year, and Greg wouldn't let it happen.
Greg, every time I get a little closer, we're okay, Mike.
All right, let's take a look at some of the great finishes of this 2009 season.
Carl Edwards now leads the way. Brad Keselowski on his back bumper.
You just watch him in your mirror. He's all over you. You're just you and him.
Contact here at the triangle. Edwards goes up in the air. A wild crash as they come down to the start and finish line. Brad Keselowski scores the victory. He's got a good run on it this time off too. New leader, Jimmy Johnson.
Nice and easy. There's some gas there, bud. He's not letting out much, man. I can't let off. Honey, now, why does this happen to us every damn time?
Jimmy Johnson's off the throttle. He may be out of fuel.
Triple around the outside lane. Can he make it home?
Save a little bit. 20 car lengths back to Mark.
Tripple's out of gas. Martin takes the lead in turn number 3.
We got it, baby! Yeah!
What an eventful final lap. Mark Martin is going to win for the 3rd time this year.
Be ready. Green flag.
Look out, here goes Denny Hamlin immediately diving under Jimmy Johnson.
That was a big boy move to grab the lead away from Jimmy Johnson by Denny Hamlin.
Clear, clear, clear. Down a boy. All right, bud, you can get it back. You can get it back.
Johnson to the inside of Hamlin. He bangs it, and Jimmy Johnson takes the lead with the bump and run in turn 3.
Great, great job.
The Hendrick domination continues at Martinsville Speedway as Jimmy Johnson wins.
Are we going to be short, or can we make it? Be 3.5 short. The 2 cars going to try to push it 1 lap further than us.
And I think Kyle Busch is out of fuel. He's wiggling the car.
I'm out. Coming to you. I'm out. I'm out.
Kyle Busch has run out of gas. And Kurt Busch is the new leader on the back straightaway.
Clear. Clear. Some more, bud. Nice and smooth here.
And once again tonight, the fuel mileage works, and Kurt Busch will go to victory lane.
Tony Stewart looks back, sees Kyle Busch poised in position and ready to pounce. Here comes Kyle Busch going for the lead here on the white flag.
I am the leader. Woo, woo.
Kyle Busch has got the lead, but he hasn't got the win yet. Tony Stewart is there. Tony looks to make the move. He swings to the high side. Kyle blocks. Tony Stewart is going to win the Coke Zero 400. A spectacular move, but you knew it was going to be something like that.
Well, those were some pretty wild finishes. The only one that I like that I wish I could just roll the tape back a little bit, put about, let's say a quarter gallon of gas in, is that Michigan finish when I was running out going down the backstretch. But no, that means. What was I thinking? Yeah. I was thinking, damn, I'm not going to win this thing.
So close.
So close, but yet so far. But that was some exciting racing.
And who would have thought that Jamie Murray would have the most wins at Roush Racing this year?
I know it. I know it. Winless, my first time ever in the Sprint Cup Series.
Except for Matt Kenseth.
First time ever.
As Michael said a few weeks ago, besides him.
You know what's interesting, though, guys, and surprised me this year when we look back a little bit. You know, Chevy, I got 19 wins or whatever. Toyota like 11. But Dodge had 4 wins and Ford only had 3. And I was shocked at that.
I
really was.
I bet you were really shocked after all.
I'm really shocked. Yeah.
One that was really shocked.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the point standings, 13th through 24th. There's some surprises up there in a good way. Marcus Ambrose for one, David Rudiman. And then on the other side, guys who are disappointed, Matt Kenseth certainly, Kevin Harvick, and conspicuously absent, Dale Earnhardt Jr. not in the top 24 points.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, you look, I think he's finished 25th, but, you know, there's another one, A.J. Allmendinger. You know, he ran 10th again yesterday at Miami, and he seems to be running better in that Petty deal. And I mentioned that in our show yesterday that I think that the Petty camp, you know, Casey Kane's not coming back. I mean, he says he has 1 more year left in his contract. He won't be back. So I think the Petty camp has a lot of things to work on over the winter and going into next year to keep some talented drivers, Casey Kane being one of them.
Yeah, there's still some big question marks going into the offseason. Well, up next, we'll see the biggest and toughest wrecks of 2009. Thank goodness that car is safe. This Week in NASCAR will be right back.
We're brought to you by
I'll let Chad compose himself.
This is like tennis, man. That's like
Cool.
Hey, we got a news from Kyle Busch. 4 weeks, no one's beat the Bushes. I don't like
But
it.
I get it.
But I get it. I like bugs.
Wow, earth-breaking news, Spence.
You know what that makes me want to do? Makes me want to go.
Michael Waltrip, who looks like he's posing for his third grade picture.
Comprehende, blowed up.
Good times, good times. Well, we've just concluded the second season with this new race car that NASCAR has designed. And one thing about it is extremely safe. That car was put to the test on several occasions this year.
Whenever you get to Sunday morning and the countdown is on, there are always some butterflies.
Trouble, one straightaway, Joey Logano.
A long slide and head on into the inside safer barrier. A tough lick for Joey Logano.
Keep rolling. Watch it.
Brian Vickers is collecting the front half of the field.
Sorry, I didn't like this, guys. I don't know who screwed up back there.
Watch this as Dale Earnhardt Jr. turns Casey Mears around. Here comes Mears back at him. Pow.
Contact. Jeff Gordon is into the outside wall.
This is a mess in turn number 4. They're still crashing and colliding. Kevin Harvick has got a piece of it.
This is when you lay it all on the line.
Mo Trouble further back. Ryan Newman up and over off the end of the back straightaway.
You just watch him in your mirror. He's all over you here, just you and him.
Contact here at the triangle. Edwards goes up in the air. A wild crash as they come down to the start and finish line. Michael Waltrip up in flames and into the outside wall. Newman all the way up against the wall. There's still 3. He's got him. Oh, there we go.
Keep your foot in it.
Keep your foot in it.
Still going.
Kyle Busch has got the lead, but he hasn't got the win yet.
Tony looks to make the move. He swings to the high side. Kyle blocks. A spectacular move, but you knew it was going to be something like that. Trouble. Martin Truex's son collects several cars. Don't normally see this kind of accident at a New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Wow. That was a mess right there watching on TV.
Oh, we got a hard crash.
Yeah, 96 looks like a smart car out there.
Oh, my God. Wow. Oh, got trouble getting into 3, guys.
And Joey Logano is around. Spins down to the inside of the racetrack. Over. Wheel barreling. Now down the back straightaway. End over end, side over side.
Oh, there goes Kurt Busch around.
Mark Martin was one of the cars involved in the accident. His car got upside down, barrel rolled, got into the outside wall.
Folks, there's your nominees. Who wins the best crash of 2009? We give it to Sam Hornish Jr. with that huge crash he had at Watkins Glen. He got hit, and yet he walked away. What a testament to this new race car.
So did Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton. That was amazing.
Yeah, that particular wreck had more than one guy involved in it. Jeff Gordon took a huge hit, and so did Sam Hornish. They're all involved in that same wreck.
And I was watching that wreck, and the fans, you have to realize that he hit the wall really, really hard, bounces out. Jeff hits him. At the same time he's spinning, Burton hits him. Like you guys said, it was very dangerous. We were very concerned for Sam, and thanks, NASCAR, and I'm sure Sam thanks you.
When you flip over, it looks spectacular, but usually when you have a big stop like we saw Sam have and Jeff Gordon have against that inside wall, that's when it hurts.
Yeah.
But yet these guys were able to get out of their cars and walk away.
Thank goodness. Hey, catch NASCAR Race Hub this week at 7:30 on Speed. Come hang out in the garage. NASCAR Race Hub this week, Monday through Wednesday, 7:30 on Speed. When Twin comes back, we'll ask the panel if they ever have trouble going the speed limit on the street after racing at close to 200 miles per hour. Emails are next. Hand model extraordinaire Michael Waltrip showing us the autograph board with signatures from personalities who have been on This Week in NASCAR in 2009, including Richard Petty and NASCAR President Mike Kelton. Bid on this autograph board on eBay. The auction is happening right now through Monday, November 30th. Search Twin Autograph Board on eBay. All proceeds go to the Victory Junction Gang Camp. Time now for the ZMAX Fuel for Thought email segment. As a NASCAR driver, is it hard to make yourself go the speed limit on public roads after going 200 miles an hour during a race, Mr. Biffle?
Well, not really. I mean, it is a little bit. I think what we learn is just we're more efficient about driving. You know, like when you're coming up to that four-way stop, you got an idea, or you're coming up to the, I'm going to make a right up here, and you're looking for traffic to come, and you're more efficient about what's going on behind the wheel.
But the speed's not an issue.
The speed's not really an issue. You know, 5 over or something like that.
I learned in driver's ed, identify, predict, decide, and execute.
What I like is when the guy's sitting at the four-way stop and you come up and stop and he's still sitting there. That's like, who was here first? You know, it's like, well, you were already sitting there before I came along.
You know what my son says from the back seat?
Go.
The pedal on the right.
Yeah, that's right.
Does NASCAR pay to use the track, or does the track pay NASCAR to come to their track?
No.
Answer, please. You said no.
Wow, the track wishes they paid. The track pays NASCAR a sanctioning fee. When NASCAR comes to the track with the series, they own the racetrack that day. They control, the whole weekend. They have everything. They control the security, all the stuff. They work with the tracks, but no, you pay NASCAR to bring the race to your venue.
The sanctioning fee. What is the left side weight percentage the Cup cars are allowed to run, Michael Waltrip?
We're in the low 50s, 52 or 53%. I don't know exactly, and
not enough.
We feel like more would be better, but that's just a race car driver, racer. You want all the left side weight you can get. And used to, we were about 55%, and with the new car, it's gone down some. So NASCAR continuously looks at what we're doing with our cars and how much left side weight we have. And they were concerned at first about us not having enough bias in the car, not enough lead in the car to make the left side percentages be 55%. But now we've gotten efficient with building the cars. We have more lead in them. They might add a little bit of left side weight to it one day.
All right, let's take a look at the top 35 in points. We haven't talked about that much, and that is significant, guys, because if you're inside that top 35 and the number 34 car is, you get to start, a guaranteed start, the first 5 races of 2010.
So the 35th place car is the 34 of Teresa Earnhardt, and then the Dietrich's matchup is not locked in.
But we've seen that change at the end of the year. If cars fall out, mergers, acquisitions, who knows?
Yeah, a lot could change. All right, again, let's take a look at some of our highlights or lowlights, however you want to look at it, from this past year.
I get out of the shower, nothing else on, put my cowboy hat on.
Oh, jeez.
Taking it easy.
You're a handsome man, Steve.
We didn't need to know that.
Did he miss an opportunity to talk about himself for an hour? And he said tools.
What in the world happened?
They got like, oh, as you tons.
This show is out of control today.
This Week in NASCAR is presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Coming up next on Supercars Exposed, the California Highway Patrol helps Tanner Faust race the infamous Mulholland Highway. Supercars Exposed coming up next at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on Speed. Michael, that Highway California, that's Estrada.
Where is Mulholland Highway? Is that near Mulholland?
I think it is.
It could be.
Final show of the year. First things first, we want to thank all of you at home for watching us and having a good time with us. I want to thank all our crew here in the studio and back in the control room, Jeff Polich and the whole gang. Do a fantastic job and make our job fun.
I want to thank all the people out there that race on weekends and tune in our shows here. I think it's pretty special. My brother, who helped me make it my career, his granddaughter won the championship in go-kart. So congratulations, Sierra. Love you, baby. I'll see you at Christmas.
I just want to thank my pit crew, man. They did a fantastic job. They got me in the chase this year. They won the Tissot Pit Crew Award this year. And one of the little girls, Roger, works for me. His little girl's sick, and Jessica, we're thinking about her.
Say hi to my mom and my family, and then thank Speed for allowing me to be a part of this show for 14 years now. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm thankful for it.
Will you be back 15 next year?
You never know.
And happy Thanksgiving.